Hello guys and welcome to my channel. This time we're going to be tackling a room called Mischief from CTFROOM, an easy CTF whereby you're going to be exploiting an IDOR to reset the password of the admin user, then gain the platform as an admin and get the flag. It's a really nice challenge. Without much say, let's jump in. URL for the web challenge is http://13.113.30.34. So first of all, what I tried to do was to see if I can find any vulnerabilities by using nictoscan. So once you do a nictoscan, you can use the command nicto-h followed by the URL, which is http://13.113.30.34. And from the nictoscan, you will find that it finds actually some couple of useful information. So I'm not going to run the scan right now because it takes a while for it to run. But what we're going to be doing is to examine the results that it gets. So if I just cut the file that I had initially saved the results to, you can see that first of all we get that the server that it's running Apache and it's in Ubuntu. So we know that this web server is running a Ubuntu server and it's running the Apache server version 2.4.41. Another thing you can see that it identified that there are endpoints like login/temp and also a file called .profiles. So that's a good thing, but this is just normal enumeration that Nicto does. So after this, even what you can try to do is to try to see exactly what kind of technologies are actually used. So there's a tool called WhatsWeb, and once you use WhatsWeb, it will normally give it, like if it's a CMS, it will tell you exactly what CMS it's running. So just the normal technology that that specific website is running. Like in our case, it tells us that it's running Apache 2.4.41. It has some PHP session ID cookies. The state that probably the server is hosted in, it's a Ubuntu Linux HTTP server. This is the IP address. So basically, these are just the normal information that you can actually enumerate whenever you're trying to attack a target. So in our case, once you visit the URL, you get this sign up page whereby it says, join us in this quest, create your account and help us navigate the world of unknowns. So what you're going to do is, first of all, to just try to, map the functionality that the site has. Like, does it allow a user to log in? If a user can log in, what exactly functionality they are able to get on the application. So basically, that's what our main concern is going to be. So I'm going to set up an account by the name of admin with the email of test at test.com, then the password of test. So first of all, what I'm going to be doing is intercepting the request using a proxy tool called Babsuit. So what I'm going to do is to turn intercept on. Then after that, I'm going to click sign up. So you can see we actually get the request, and we can see that other than us having the parameter name, email, and password, there's also an ICE_opened and ICE_nonce. I believe this is supposed to act as a CSRF token to prevent cross-site request forgery. But in our case, we are not going to be focusing much on that. So let me forward the request. Then after that, it redirects us to the home page, as you can see by get/http/1.1. So what I'm going to be doing next is to see if it works. But if I use the email of test@test.com, we get that a user with the same email address exists in our database. So first of all, what we've been able to identify is that there is a user that has this specific email address. So we can do username enumeration or email address enumeration by using the sign up page. So that's a good thing, because this is actually a vulnerability that if you find in any web application, you're actually supposed to report, because you can be able to enumerate user. So I'm going to be doing the same thing, the name admin, but I'm going to be using the email of test1, and I hope it's not taken, at test1.com. So remember, we have found another email that basically doesn't belong to us, but let's just keep that at the back of our minds. I'm going to be using a password of test. So let me again try to sign up and hope this time you're going to get a successful response, and it says your account has been created, you can now log in. So after that, it actually directs us to this login page, which is a good thing. So what I'm going to be doing is logging in using the credentials that I created. So it was test1 at test1.com, 1.com, then the password was test. So I just decided to use a weak password policy because these are CTF. But let's try to log in and see if it's going to work. So we get access to the dashboard. It says hack the box Kenya meetup. Then this is our account. It says now that you are here, you can escalate the application privileges to an admin of this site. So if we click dashboard, it redirects us to the back to the login page. So the only functionality that we have right now is if you go to our profile, to my profile, you can actually both change your full names and you can change your email address. So remember, initially we had an email of test@test.com. I believe that's not, it doesn't belong to us. But what you can try to do is to try to see, what if I change my email address to be that of a user that already exists on the platform? Is the application going to recognize that this is a valid email that already exists? So let's just try it and see if it's going to work. But it says another user with the same email exists in our system. So basically, you can also use this change email address field to be able to enumerate users that have already been onboarded on that specific platform. So what I'm going to be doing right now is logging out, first of all, of the system and map out other functionalities. So as you remember, there was a way we could, there was a forgot password functionality. So it says that if we reset our password, it will send us in our email. It will send in our email a reset link. So remember, we had an email of test1@test1.com. So what I'm going to be doing is get link, clicking on it. Then it says that here is your password reset link in case you don't receive an email address. So if you don't receive an email, so what I'm going to be doing right now is actually trying to see if I access this specific link that was generated, if it's going to work. So let me just try it and see if it's going to work. And as you can see, it actually works. It says use the form below to change your password. So what I tried to see the first time when I was doing this challenge was to see if these MD5, if you do an character count on that specific hash, you'll notice it's actually just an MD5 sum. So if I do like right now echo-n WC-C, it is actually 32 characters, which is just an MD5 sum. So when I was doing the box, my first thought was, what if this hash is actually static, meaning it's generated based on the information that that user provided. Like let's say it uses the email address to generate this hash. It combines both the username and the email address. So the way that I needed to confirm if this was actually happening was to try to send to create another reset link again to see if I'm going to receive the same exact hash, or actually it's something that is going to be different from what I initially had. So right now we have an hash that is starts with an N9, then ends with a 21. Then let's try to regenerate another link. So it will be test1@test1.com. So let me get the link again. Then you're going to see if it matches. So right now it actually changed. Right now from an A9, it's a DE and an AD at the end. So basically it means every time you reset, you try to access, this reset functionality, the hash actually changes, meaning it isn't specific to a user, meaning even if we had the details of another user, we actually couldn't be able to reset their password. But right now, this is actually also another vulnerability. Basically, what the application is supposed to do to you is to send that reset link specifically to your email address, because you are the only user that has access to that specific email. So right now, if you remember before, we had a user called test@test.com. Remember, we tried to do a registration using this specific email address, and it refused and told us that that user exists. So right now, if I try to get a reset link for this specific user, so just give me a second, it regenerated this specific link. So let me just copy it, go to a new tab. Then again, I'm going to try to reset its password. I'm going to be putting the password as test. Then I repeat the new password, which is going to be test. So give it a second. It says the password was changed successfully. Let's try to log in using the account test. Remember, it wasn't our account initially, but let's try and log in as the user test, then the password of test, to see if you successfully managed to take over the account of this specific user. So give it a second, and voila, we have access to the page, meaning we were able to take account over an account of a totally different user who we didn't even know existed on the platform, but through username enumeration and by an improper design of the reset link functionality, we were able to take over this user's account. So my thinking right now is that if we get the email of the admin user, we will be able to take over his account. But if you look through the application, you won't be able to get the email of the admin. So what I just did was, first of all, try to see if I look at the source code of the application, did the developer leave anything behind that might indicate an email of this specific admin user, something like that. But actually it didn't work. So it ended up being a rabbit hole. So I went back to the drawing board and I said, first of all, let me log out of this account, then log in as a user test one, the one that we had created a bit earlier. So it was test one at test1.com, then the user of test. So let's try to sign in. So let's just give it a second, and it works. So we have actually logged in into the platform. So the next thing that I tried to see was in my profiles, if I try to change my email, is it going to work? So what I just did was try to change my email from test1 to test2 at test2.com. So remember, my password is still test, but let me just intercept this request. Then we're going to, go through it. So this is the request for me being able to change my password. But as you can see it, we have an additional parameter called user ID. And if you look at it carefully, it's just a base 64 encoded string. So what I'm going to be doing is taking that string, going back to my Linux terminal, then I'm actually going to decrypt it. So echo-n, paste it, then type it to base 64-d. We get it's 69. So basically the user ID is 69 for the person that has an email of test2 at test2.com. So my thinking was that, what if we decide to change our user ID to be 1, to tell the application that the user that has a user ID of 1 has the email of test at test2 at test2.com. So what I'm going to be doing is going back to my terminal, just give it a second. Then I'm going to be typing the command echo-n, then 1, then base 64-w0. So it's just going to take the integer 1, then convert it into a base 64 format. So we get its MQ and 2 equal signs for padding. So let me just copy it. Then from there, we are going to do a URL encode using Babsuit, then submit this request to the backend server. So just give me a second. Just give me a second. So let me just replace it. Then after that, what I'm going to be doing is to URL encode it. So press Ctrl U, then submit this to the backend. So give it a second. It says that your email has been changed successfully. So right now, what the request that you sent to the backend, it says that the user who has a user ID of 1 has an email of test2 at test2.com. So what I did next was logging out, then again trying to log in as test2 at test2.com. So test2 at test2.com, then the password of test. Remember, this is the password that we had initially used. So let's try to sign in, and it works. Just like that, we have access, and it says that now you are here. You can escalate your privileges to an admin, but right now, as you can see, congratulations on figuring out how to chain IDOR, which is an insecure direct object reference, with password reset to gain access to the admin account for your efforts. Here are the flags. So basically, we've found the flag of this specific challenge. So I think this might have worked as a result of me trying to test the challenge before. But if you try to log in with the email of test2 at test2.com and it doesn't work, you can just go to the forgot password, reset the password of the user test2 at test2.com, then again log in to get the flag. So that's it. Till next time, thank you for listening.